Hello everyone and welcome to another video and welcome to a tiny crossover SUV which is this Opel Crossland X. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you all the interiors, the exteriors, and we'll be going on a short drive in this Opel Crossland X. Before we move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel and also make sure to press the bell icon so that you never miss any video updates from my channel. So let me begin from the front. You get this big glossy grille, black one out here, and then this signature Opel designed logo out here along with these chrome wings on both the sides, and then a huge bumper if you actually see. So this car is actually pretty tall that way, but pretty compact if you see it from the side profile. And then these headlights are LED headlights, and then they have the adaptive headlights. There are also cornering lights which are included inside the headlight cluster, and also they have DRLs in them. Those DRLs also convert into turn signals, and at the bottom you would find a fog lamp, which is the halogen fog lamp. But notice this big chunk of plastic piece at the bottom of the bumper. Now this actually helps in making sure that normal scuffs here and there whatever you have, so this thing is actually easy to replace. And the thing is, it's actually substantial amount of that plastic bit which has been put at the bottom, and you immediately notice it from the front. There's also this silver skid plate at the bottom. So this particular model is the Opel Crossland X Ultimate, which is the top of the line version, and in that you get 18-inch alloy rims, which is actually, I like these design of the rims. But the thing is, these wheels, if you see it from the side profile, they look really small and tiny on this car. I wish, like, it's probably the arches which are just too small, which is why they had to put smaller wheels. But I wish they had, like, something bigger to fit with the car. And also there are some places where the panel gap is a little odd, like this between the bonnet and the headlights. There are some places at the back also, and there's like this big turn signal out here. And then these side mirrors are power foldable, they are power adjustable, and they come in this black color. And also the roof is black, if you notice, till the back it goes. So you get this optional two-tone color package if you want to opt for, which is again a part of the Ultimate and the mid-level. There is also a bit of body cladding at the bottom, again that is plastic, also on the fenders, so that you don't damage your underbody or the side body. There's also this half chrome surround that goes from here till the back. It's little unusual because this trim actually drops behind the roof, actually drops substantially in the back, so reducing the visibility overall in the back. There are also roof rails in the back, and also there is an antenna in the center. And these doors are actually smart keyless entry doors. And the thing about the rear door is, if you notice, it's actually quite small. And also notice you sit usually out here, which is way in the back, and then the front of the car is out here, and the rear seats are just about here. And also notice that the car just ends completely in the back, so you're literally, the rear passengers are sitting way behind, right onto the wheels. And even the door opening in the back is actually pretty small. Now in the back you get a mixture of LED and halogen tail light cluster, and also these tail lights have a chrome surround inside the tail light itself. There is also Opel badging, there is also Crossland X badging. And also notice how high this car looks from behind, and because of these tail lights which are placed right almost like just to the top. So like, and the bumper at the bottom that you see again is all plastic, like complete plastic bumper which has been given. And again, that is to do with the fact that you don't scratch it, or if you do, then it's just easy to replace. Also it's kind of an everyday car, so which is why this bumper actually makes sense. There's also a silver skid plate which has been given, and that's pretty much about it. There is a single exhaust which is behind the bumper, and there are two reflectors at the bottom. Now in terms of the visibility, this car is pretty good in terms of the visibility, because you can actually see quite a bit of view from the rear view glass. And the only thing is, when the sun visors are down, it tends to cover up the part of your rear view mirror a little bit. Now when it comes to the boot space, this tiny car can offer you in this current setting a boot space of 410 liters. Now The thing is, this boot separator can be removed, and also there is a slot dedicated for that. Let me show you all. So it's quite easy to actually remove. Give it a few knocks and yeah, it just slots behind in the back. So you can leave it like this and utilize the entire boot space. And also the floor that you see also can be adjustable, so you can put it down if you want to put more luggage. But there are also scuff plates behind, and so I don't know, there was a plastic bumper anyway, so anyways you won't scratch that plastic bumper. And this boot space, when you put it down, you can actually increase a little bit of boot space, but then there is a bit of lip after that. But right now there is slide, but then once you put that boot floor down, then you have to pick up your luggage and put it in the back. Now the seats are foldable, but the middle row of seat also can be folded separately, so you just have to pull it from here in case you want a through and through loading, so you can do that also. But if you're going to completely utilize the seats, fold it down completely. Yeah, that was a bit of a glitch, so let me do it on both the sides and show you. So the reason why the boot floor is raised is because of that. So now in this setting there is no place to store this boot separator, so you can just leave it in the back or just push it behind between the seats. And in this settings you can put like 1255 liters of boot space, and for a tiny car this is a very good amount of boot storage. There are also boot lights out here. There are some hook points where you can tie your stuff, and there's also a spare wheel which has been given at the bottom, so you have to dig in a little bit and then you will find the spare wheel. Well, everything in this Opel Crossland X is meant to last for a few centuries, because everything first of all is made out of plastic, and there are few places where they have put soft touch plastics, like out here on the dashboard. Although it's not very soft, it's still like hard plastic, but on the door cards everywhere you will find like hard plastic, and then there is this dark gray surround around the speakers on the door, and yeah, pretty much everywhere black plastic out here also, and a little bit of shaky center tunnel, and again that is also plastic. And there's like a bit of glossy plastic that they have used around the gear lever. There's also a dark gray color plastic on the dashboard. When it comes to the dashboard, now you will find dashboards actually it looks very similar to a pickup truck dashboards, so there's like big dials on top. There are like fuel gauges and temperature gauges, and in the center there is a screen which shows you your range and your fuel consumption and the odometer, and that is pretty much it. It's a simplified, no nonsense. There's no like multiple screens that you can change, so that's a very straightforward, easy to use dashboard. And a special thing to mention is this heads up display first. So this heads up display has a screen, so when you start the car that screen comes up. And also if you don't want this heads up display, you can close the screen from buttons given on the left side. And the thing is, the reason this screen has been given for the heads up display is because this dashboard is pretty long. So I mentioned before that you sit way behind, so there's like a big dashboard given, and it's actually a usable dashboard on which you can put a lot of stuff. And there's also like a lip so that nothing falls from the dashboard. And this heads up display actually shows you a wide variety of information, like your speed, your cruise control, your limiter speed, and also your navigation, if there is any, that direction it will show. So a lot of things it can show on the screen itself. And when it comes to the steering wheel, it is nice and big. Again, there is plastic bit in the center, and then this is a leather covered steering wheel with good thumb support on it. And then on your left side you will find the cruise control and the speed limiter, and the speed limiter is actually pretty easy to use, straightforward buttons also. And actually I love the speed limiter feature because that's what I use most of the time instead of the cruise control. On the right side you will find the communication and the media controls for your infotainment screen. The steering wheel is also manually adjustable, tilt and telescopic. Now when it comes to the air conditioning system, there are straightforward buttons given out here, dials and knobs and everything to control the AC. So it's a dual zone air conditioning control, and you get like dials to control your temperature and also the fan speed and also the different flow of air. And there is also a tiny screen which shows the temperature. And if you want to control the air conditioning system from the screen itself, you can also do that. So it will display the temperature and everything on your screen, and then you can control the air conditioning system from the screen itself with everything to control control that. The air conditioning module which has been given, that's again where you see, you know, a bit of quality issues. So, you know, this bit of plastic which is loose and, you know, sort of, yeah, moving around when you try to touch it. So yeah, there are few areas where, you know, that needs a little bit of improvement. And now when it comes to the infotainment screen, it's a 8-inch TFT touchscreen and pretty simplified system actually, because it's all just black and white system that you will see. It's a colorful display, but all the menus and all the options are black and white. Now I find this really interesting because while driving, this is not a very distracting screen, and that's a very interesting thing, because a lot of times when the screen and displays are colorful, you tend to, your eye somewhere, you know, tends to go on that screen and wants to see what is it. But in this, yeah, I did not find it distracting, although because it's a TFT screen, it tends to face a lot of washout, the washes out during the bright daylight, and also the angle is a little towards the roof. The infotainment screen is also controlled using the buttons given, so there are straightforward menu options given on these buttons itself. So there's a button for your audio. Now when it comes to the connectivity, you can connect to this system using the aux, Bluetooth, there's USB, there's also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. There's also a built-in navigation system, a little laggy, but it's alright. It's still good enough. 8-inch screen that you can see a navigation system on. Then there is the volume knob, and then there is the set button where you can set your profiles for this car, and then again the buttons for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, straightforward. Then the vehicle settings that you can directly go to and change your headlights, comfort, safety, vehicle access, and there's a lock button for your door lock. Now this Crossland X comes with a fixed panoramic sunroof. Now the thing is, it's actually a brilliant feature because it makes the whole cabin feel so much more airy and, you know, bright. And also it's got the UV protection, so it's kind of tinted, so you won't have direct sunlight coming into the cabin. Now when it comes to the storage, you can put like 1 liter worth of bottle in the door cards, but you really have to put it in the horizontal position instead of the vertical position, because in the vertical position I think you can just put like half a liter worth of bottle and a little more storage on the sides. There is also a small storage on the driver's side, like a small pocket. I don't know what you can put, like a credit card or your wallet. And then there is also a deep sort of storage out here where you can store your wallets again and phone. And also there is 2 cup holders out here, and then these 2 cup holders are actually fixed cup holders, so the small ones may be a little dangling, and there is no center armrest out here. Then there is this glove box. Again, the door, oh yeah, it falls down very slowly. That's a good thing. In the rear door cards, you can put like half a liter worth of bottle. Now when it comes to the seats, these seats are black colored, white stitching, leather seats, and they are slightly on the harder side, but although they have good amount of support when you're going on a longer journey, or that way it's pretty good. So the seat is 8-way adjustable, so the lumbar support is 4-way electronically adjustable, while the other things are mechanically adjustable. There is also a extension for your thighs, under the thigh, so during the longer journeys that's a very useful feature. And this is also available for the passenger seat. Also the seats are heated seats, and the controls are on both the sides of the air conditioning controls. There's also a handrest that you can use while driving, and this is only available for the driver's seat. Now when it comes to charging or the connectivity, you get 2 USB plugs out here in the dashboard. There is 120 watt power socket out here. There is also another 120 watt power socket for the rear passenger, and there is also a wireless charging which is given out here underneath the AC control. So now that deep storage that you see, that has the wireless charging has a sort of area which only is used for phones which are smaller than, I don't know, maybe 5 inch, or because I tried putting a bigger phone like the Samsung Note 10 or the S20, and then those phones are too big and it won't really fit inside the box. So yeah, you can only put like smaller phones inside it, and only they will be able to charge. So the Opel Crossland X comes with 6-speaker music system. So if you remember, I had mentioned the fact that the rear door opening is actually pretty small, and I actually wanted to show you all. So you know, when I am sitting in the normal position, yeah, you can see this is like a pillar which comes all the way till my shoulder line, and when I want to step out, it's actually, yeah, you see, it's it's quite narrow that way. Now when you're in the rear seats, things get a little tight in the back, because as you can see, there is just about enough of knee room for my legs. The seats are a little curving, which is why I get that extra bit of knee room, but my head is almost touching the roof. So if someone is taller than 6 foot, then yeah, the head may start hitting. Although if you are ahead, then because of this panoramic sunroof, you get that extra bit of headroom. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty tight. And also these seats are pretty upright. It's like sitting pretty much at a 90-degree angle. And also you can see that my legs are in the squatting position almost. And as I mentioned before, there is also a 120 watt power socket out here, and then there is just a small amount of tunnel which goes out here, although this is just a front wheel drive car. So when I sit in the middle row of seat is actually quite alright, to be honest. And the thing is, in the middle, because you are slightly raised up, now my head is actually touching the roof now. So yeah, in the normal seats, things are just about, you can squeeze in. So these seats are leather seats, again with white color stitching and black color leather, and there is no handrest in the back. So there are no cup holders or handrest, but you do get 3 headrests in the back. So when it comes to the door cards, again, that is also plastic door cards, and then you can put like half a liter worth of bottle or even 1 liter worth of bottle in the rear door cards. But then the button to open these windows is actually quite behind. So if you can notice, I have to push my hand a little behind, but then these windows roll down completely. So yeah, that's one good thing. There's also a small storage in the center tunnel where you can put your phones and wallets. Well, this Opel Crossland X Ultimate comes with a 1.2 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine that produces 110 brake horsepower and 205 Newton meters of torque. Now the special thing about this torque is that it is generated, the peak torque, which is 205, is generated at just 1500 rpm, and that is quite evident when you push the throttle, and yeah, it just instantly picks up. And that's the good thing about this engine. And this engine is mated to a 6-speed gearbox, which is an automatic gearbox. Now here's the problem with that: the gearbox is actually quite clunky, and it's just that when it shifts, there are lots of jerks, and you actually feel going through all the shifts, especially when you're shifting down. When it shifts from the 3rd to the 2nd gear, it's actually so jerky, like you can feel the whole car rattling around while shifting the gears. And that's the only thing. But I am super impressed by this 1.2 liter turbocharged engine, because it's super responsive, all thanks to that low end turbo. Imagine the turbos, like they must be just spooling up so quickly to be able to give you such an instant bit of torque, and it's always available whenever you use the throttle all the time. So it's going to be pretty easy accelerating from traffic, or if you want to just pick up the speed on the go. Now because of this 1.2 liter engine, you will get an efficiency. So the claim efficiency is 18.5 somewhere, but I'm getting anywhere between 14 to 15, and with a fuel tank of 45 liters, I'm getting a range of nearly 500 to 550, which is still not bad, to be honest, because this car is very small. Like from the photos and stuff, it would give you a sense that this car is super big, but it's a very small crossover SUV. Now when it comes to the suspension, again, the suspensions are a bit too sensitive, and the thing is that every single bump I can feel on the road from my seat and the car itself, because it just directly transfers all the vibrations and the road surface irregularities into the cabin, and that is what I don't like. And also there is a lot of softness to it, but it's all right, because again, this car is pretty light, so there is not going to be too much of a, sorry about the beeping, because it's the lane keep assist that is warning me that I'm going off the lane. So continuing, yeah, because the car is so light, it's not going to be a lot of problem. The CG is still somewhere in the middle, so you're not going to feel like a toppling feeling or anything. When it comes to the steering wheel, again, the steering is an electronic steering. At low end, it's super tight. Now at the lower speed, the turning radius is pretty small. It's smaller than even a hatchback. So yeah, that's a good thing. But at higher speeds, the steering is actually very sensitive. So you constantly have to, let me demonstrate you that, because if I can go up to 100 or somewhere around that, then I'll be able to show you that the car tends to sort of weigh around too much, and because the suspensions are too sensitive. So yeah, if you can see, like, I have to constantly keep correcting the steering wheel, and because of the softness which has been given to the steering wheel, it has to, because it's electronic, they can change the nature of the steering, make it more harder at higher speed. Now when it comes to the NVH levels, they are actually quite good. I am very surprised. So the thing is, because this car is so small, and it's kind of an affordable SUV, so you would think that they would have cut corners, but at least in this department, the windows are so huge. So it's still surprising that there is not much of noise or anything, and yeah, you cannot really hear a lot of wind whooshing or anything. Now when it comes to the brakes, first let me demonstrate you the power of these brakes. That was my emergency stop signal that kicked in, so this car comes with that also. So the brake pedal is actually quite sensitive. Now if you just put your foot on the pedal, like even 1 millimeter of travel, and it just sort of starts gripping the brakes. And that's the thing, like I need a little bit of travel, because if there is some sudden like, not sudden actually, but if you're in a traffic and you just try to just press the brakes slightly, then the car tends to just grip those brakes so hard, and sometimes you want a longer travel, so as to get the full advantage of the braking action, and not just for that 1 centimeter of travel. So yeah, that's something that needs to be improved, I think. And when it comes to the safety department, again, in safety, it's just very standard. So it's got 6 airbags, 2 for the driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags. There is also ABS, there is also EBD, there is the emergency stop system, there is tire pressure monitoring system, there is also a single camera reversing system. Again, the thing is, because this screen is a TFT screen, so the output from that tends to be a little bit choppy, and especially if you are going at a little faster speed in the reverse direction. I know you can't go fast, but then just the normal speed of reversing, then the graphics tend to on screen start chopping, but at lower speed it's still smooth, and the output from that is pretty alright. You can switch to different views from the screen itself. You can have a 180 degree view, you can have a zoomed view, you can have the standard view and all of that. So yeah, in terms of that, it's pretty alright. There is also child ISOFIX points in both the rear seats. There is also traction control. There is also all the vehicle stability controls that you need. But there is one more thing, and that is the dead pedal out here, which is given, is actually quite raised up, and so my feet is actually bent all the time pretty much. So I rather prefer to keep it next to the brake pedal instead, because that's like my stretching my legs after that. But otherwise this tends to be like a pedal which is it's just not the right position ergonomically. Now this car, which is the ultimate model, is priced at 81,900, and in terms of the offerings, it's pretty alright. I mean, it's up to you to decide, because the requirements are pretty subjective. You can be looking at something, if you want like well built quality, that is there for sure in this one, but it's more rough and tough, and it's meant to take everyday beating, everyday daily usage of kids, families using it in and out every day. So in terms of that, it's going to be pretty good, and also it's pretty efficient engine wise, because bear in mind, a lot of miles are going to be inside the city most of the time. So for that, this is a pretty good city car, I would say. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye and take care.